put together by WVIZ PBS and Cleveland Botanical Garden. Isn't it terrific, Maureen?
Oh, this is a great book. This Gardener's Guide for Northeast Ohio. Cleveland Botanical Garden has helped us put this together by providing us with all of many articles and newsletters that they have put together that's been sent out over the last 20 years to their members, and it's available for you now in this vinyl covered book that's really a book that you can add to, you can put more information into, your own notes and information about that you might gather from other places, but this is a plethora of information about what you do about gardening specifically here in Northeast Ohio, and that's what makes it so valuable. It's specific to Northeast Ohio and from the experts at the Cleveland Botanical Garden.
Well, and you know, Maureen, we don't have all the information in the book yet. It's still being produced. It will be done within a day or two, but there's already 131 pages in the book that I'm looking at, and with wonderful questions like, how do I care for my Christmas cactus? Help, I cut off the top of my Dieffenbachia and rerooted it because it was getting too tall. Will the trunk sprout, or do I need to throw that away? Here's another one that says, help, I forgot to water my jade plant and its leaves are pale and very withered.
Yeah, they get mushy.
Yes, what can I do to revive it? Will it survive? And all of these questions are in here. These are questions that were put into the newsletter in 1996, 1992, 1991. This is a collection from Cleveland Botanical Garden that's never been assembled before, Maureen, but was put together for this very celebration of gardening here in northeastern Ohio, and it can come to you as our way of saying thank you for your $60 pledge, but these aren't the only items that we have.
No, they aren't. We also have the show you're watching right now, this 4-hour show, the segments of the show itself, the gardening segments will be put together in a videotape that's a little over 2 hours long. This videotape, The Gardener's Guide for Northeast Ohio, is available to you for a $90 pledge. You can put that on a credit card. You can call the number on your screen right now and make sure you get this so that you can really spend time with this information and be able to absorb it, stop the tape, go back, listen to it again, know exactly what to do because there's so much great information. Each one of these segments is going to be listed on the back of the tape box so that you'll see exactly where they are and you'll be able to find those segments as you need them so you don't have to go all the way through the tape.
We also have another item at the $90 level that you can choose from. It's called the Cleveland Garden Handbook, the second edition, written by Susan McClure and 17 other Cleveland Garden experts. It's actually answers, ideas, and inspiration. The guide starts with local garden pros, answers to common questions about our region's climate and soil, how to deal with it, diseases, pests, proper lawn maintenance. It then offers expert local advice on planning and creating landscapes, basic topics like perennials and shrubs to more advanced subjects. And then it also ends with an exhaustive directory of various professionals and plant sources and horticultural organizations and events, even public display gardens. So it's a wonderful resource for you to have if you love gardening and if you don't have this book. But Maureen, we've been saying all along, you may as well just pledge $180 because then what happens?
Sure, because that means you get all 3 items that we're talking about. The Gardener's Guide to Northeast Ohio, the Cleveland Garden Handbook, and the videotape of the program that you're watching. We're editing out the pieces where Kent and I are talking to you so that you have only the segments of information that are going to help you have the most beautiful garden in Northeast Ohio.
And it's been really typical of WVIZ PBS to present these kind of programs. I think way back to a program called Crockett's Victory Garden. It was with Jim Crockett, and what a wonderful man he has, who has left us now, but left the show in very good hands, and many hosts have come through the garden, but the Victory Garden here on public television has been one of the real staples of helping people to deal with gardening. We've taken you all across the country and literally around the world looking at gardens, but it's never dealt exclusively with northeastern Ohio, as this program is doing today, Maureen, and that's what's so special, that it's just continuing our mission of providing education, but we can't do it without you. It's critical that you go to your telephone right now and make that pledge. And Maureen, they tell us it's time to go back out to the Home and Garden Show where we have another...
more people with questions?
All day long. People are going to be asking questions. Let's find out what's up right now.
Hi, my name is Dan. I'm from Westfield Center, and I want to know if I can mulch my garden with grass clippings.
And the answer is absolutely yes, you can, as long as the clippings don't include weed seeds or that you haven't treated your grass with an herbicide for at least 3 weeks. If you have done that, then or if you have weed seeds in those clippings, you'll want to make sure to compost those grass clippings and not use them as a mulch.
And that was one of the questions. It's on page 25 of the book. So there's just so many questions coming in, and almost anything you can imagine, any problem that you have, will be in this book. It's just phenomenal that something like this could be put together. When we first decided to do the program, we knew we'd have a home video, we knew we'd find a gardening handbook, but never expected that the Cleveland Botanical Garden would say, you know, we have even a better way of getting involved, and worked so hard in putting together this 20-year history, really, of the questions, the articles, the tips, of the newsletter that the Cleveland Botanical Garden sent to members. If you want to find out more about them, just look them up in the telephone book, give them a call. They're a wonderful organization, and we couldn't have put this program together without them. So we hope right now you'll rush to your telephone, make that $180 pledge. At $60, you'll get the book. At $90, you'll receive the home video of the Gardener's Guide to Northeastern Ohio, or the $90 level, also the Cleveland Garden Handbook. And then at the $180 level, you will get that big package. And we hope that you'll make that pledge. So many people pledging today, more than half of them have actually been asking for the complete package, and we hope that we can count you in that list of people who have done that.
And you know, Ken, we also want to make sure that we thank a couple of other organizations today, because Cleveland Botanical Garden has supplied so much to this effort, but also so has Petiti's Garden Centers. They've been in several segments today and have provided the plantings in the studio
and we
today
have to say
for us to do this show.
Big thank you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but to Angelo Petiti.
Yes.
Angelo was here for the pre-production meeting. Almost everything you're seeing in the plant life that's here came from Angelo's greenhouses. And when we were here for the pre-production meeting, we realized some things were missing, and Angelo said, no problem, a truck will arrive with all of those things you need. So that beautiful set that you see there, some of the things came from someone you're going to be talking about next, I think, but almost all of that beautiful plant life came from our friends at Petiti's Garden Center. So we want to say a big thank you to them. But where did we get some of these other things from?
We also got things from Smith & Hawken at Eaton Collection.
Yes.
Can't say Eaton Collection today. Out in Chagrin, out in Woodmere on Chagrin Boulevard. And the really neat thing too is that Smith & Hawken is offering you a 20% discount off of merchandise, and you get that coupon in the Cleveland Garden Center book, the Gardener's Guide to Cleveland. I can't say that.
The Gardener's Guide to Northeast Ohio.
Northeast Ohio. There you go. Available to you for that $60 pledge, or as a part of the package at the $180 pledge. That's where you really want to be. So you want to get all those items.
I keep interrupting you. That's I apologize for that. But if you go in there and buy some planting material and some tools and some chairs and things such as we're sitting on today, and spend whatever amount, they'll give you 20% off of that for this one time only when you take this coupon in. So that's a really good deal, and we want to say thank you to them for that also. We mostly want to say thank you to you, though, because it's your support that makes this station what it is. If you're a current member, consider giving an additional gift to get these items in your home.
Oh, this is worth an additional gift.
It truly is.
No doubt about it.
If you're up for renewal, if you have that renewal letter in your mail right now, call on the telephone, renew that support. Maybe you're a member whose membership has lapsed. You're not a current member of the station, and if you didn't receive the program guide this month, well, then your membership has lapsed. Go to your telephone and rejoin the station, or if you've never been a member, I can't think of a better time than to pledge right now to get this wonderful collection of gardening items.
This is the kind of programming that WVIZ likes to bring, things that are local, things that are very specific to your life every day. And if this is what you'd like to see continue happening at WVIZ throughout the year, if you'd like to see more how-to programs, more things that deal with things that are absolutely relevant to what you do every day, then now's the time to pledge. Pledge that $180, the equivalent of only $15 a month, and get these great gifts, if you'd like, when you make your call to that number on your screen.
We're standing by. We're waiting to hear from you. It's almost time to go back over and visit with Julie and Jeremy and the next guest that they have over in the garden corner of WVIZ PBS studio. I think they're going to be doing some container gardening. So let's check in right now, find out who's back in the garden with Julie and Jeremy.
WVIZ PBS wants to thank the following for their assistance in the production of the Gardener's Guide for Northeast Ohio. Cleveland Botanical Garden. For more than 70 years, Cleveland Botanical Garden has been a source of knowledge and inspiration for people of all ages and backgrounds. Their gardens will be open April 1st to October 31st, and their new glass house and renovated facility will be opening in the fall of 2003. Petiti Garden Centers. With 7 locations, including their new Strongsville store, Petiti Garden Centers has the knowledge and expertise to help both beginner and professional gardeners. Smith & Hawken, committed to using their knowledge and expertise to help gardeners and garden lovers affirm their connection to the earth in an environmentally sensitive way. We're back in the Garden Center here at WVIZ PBS, bringing you the Gardener's Guide to Northeastern Ohio with helpful tips about how you can make your garden the best it can be right here in Northeastern Ohio. And joining us again is Michael Lose from Cleveland Botanical Garden. Cleveland Botanical Garden is helping to produce this program today, 4 hours of these helpful gardening tips. And Michael Lose, you're going to tell us now about container gardening.
Now,
Jeremy, how do we start?
I mean, this almost looks like terracotta, because we're in Northeast Ohio, where we are zone 5 or 6, this might break over the winter time, but this looks light enough that even you could pick it up, Julie.
Yeah, tell us about some of these containers, Michael.
These containers are great. These are new on the market. This one in particular is a polymer resin fiberglass container. It's perfectly sturdy to exist in our hard climate. It's not going to crack, it's not going to wear, you're not going to get ground corners, you won't have chips coming out of it, and you can leave it out all winter with soil in it.
And it's incredible. It looks exactly like terracotta that has been aged a little bit. But you couldn't leave,
that's right.
If this were terracotta, you couldn't leave this outside all winter.
No, it wouldn't last in our winters. Even like little watermarks, they've been able to put watermarks in this polymer, and it's really a great alternative to terracotta.
In fact, all the containers I think we're going to see right now are all ones that will work here in Northeast Ohio with our winters.
That's right. Every container we're showing is completely hardy for our climate. These two are similar polymer resin fiberglass containers. These give that nice terracotta look with the little floral pattern.
You can tell how light they are.
And they're extraordinarily light.
Now, why would someone want to plant in containers, Michael?
Well, I think containers are really important for gardeners, for modern gardeners, especially in the urban environment. Yards are getting smaller, people are having less and less time to grow things in the ground. So if you have a container on your patio, you can actually grow whatever you want. You get flowers, you can get vegetables, whatever you have the time for or the desire to grow.
So you can plant any kind of plant, even like a tropical like this rose tree we see
Absolutely.
back here?
I love to see tropical foliage in container plantings outside, especially in patios. It gives a real bold effect. You have good color, you have good texture.
So you can plant a tropical plant and have that out in your yard right here in Northeastern Ohio?
Absolutely. It's going to die in winter.
Okay.
But
you're not going to be able to bring it in and save it.
And the
That's
beauty of
right.
a container is if it's something like this, cold inside in the wintertime, and you have a lovely houseplant.
That's right.
Well, tell us about some of the plants we can use.
Lots of the plants for container plantings are new on the market now. You're getting things like this. This is Scaevola.
Oh, is that the blue fan flower?
It's a blue fan flower. I believe it's one of the newer items from New Zealand, Australia region. This plant, once it's in the ground or in a container, it's going to kind of cascade and fall over the container. It gives a really nice effect. As does this. This is Helichrysum,
Is that the licorice plant?
and this is licorice plant.
Will it smell like licorice?
It smells like licorice.
I don't want to move it while
No,
I'm
you
out
can
of it.
you can smell it, and it'll actually smell like
Oh,
licorice.
it really does.
It's got a fuzzy leaf, and when you pet the fuzzy leaf, it ends up smelling like that spice. That also kind of cascades over the edge. It's a good butterfly plant, too. It'll attract butterflies to the garden.
Speaking of
okay.
scented plants, I saw and smelled this one.
Right, that's a golden oregano. You can make an entire planting of just herbs.
So you can just actually go out and have like a little country herb garden right in a
That's right.
in a container.
On your patio, you can have your own herb garden.
And what about some of the vegetables you can grow in containers? What would you have to do if you wanted to plant a tomato plant? How big a container would you need, and would that work?
Well, it depends on the type of tomato. If you want to plant something like cherry tomatoes, you can use a smaller container. But if you want big beefsteak tomatoes, you're probably not going to get the huge tomato, but you're going to get a good-sized tomato. You just need a large enough container. One of
the
these
big
big
ones.
containers here, that'll be plenty to put in like a tomato plant or two, and you'll get some decent produce out of
And
it.
there's even some newer varieties called Tiny Tim tomatoes, which only grow about 12 to 18 inches high,
Right.
which would do great in just a small container just like that.
Right.
So
a
even
6-inch
people who
pot.
just have an apartment and maybe a little balcony could end up having some vegetables
There's no
they can bring
excuse that you
inside.
can't have plants
That's right.
if you have a container.
That's right.
Well, we've got about 5 minutes left. Is that enough time for you to put together a container for us to show us how you do it?
Absolutely.
Well, let's take a look.
Absolutely.
Before you get started, Michael, I saw this really cool container here. Do you want to explain what that is?
It looks like dirt. I mean soil,
This is
not dirt.
This is a hypertufa container. It's made out of peat moss, Portland cement, and perlite, and that's weather hardy in this area.
Did you make this one, Michael?
Yes, I made this one. And
Wow.
you can grow alpine plants in it or perennials. It depends. It stays out all winter, and you can make quite little